And when you put together different disciplines, each one fertilizes the other. You know, there's a kind of cross-fertilization. So this is another space for music. Of course, is much more modest than the one we will make here in Athens, because the new opera house will be 1,400 seats. And then we have a black box theater, a black box space for music that will be 400 seats, but so it will be more like this scale. But I'm just saying that music is a kind of constant presence, and this is the piazza. This is a kind of piazza in the middle of the Morgan Library. I show this because being in New York, well, you can see through the transparency of that magic box, you see New York. You are in the middle of New York. You feel where you are. Well, of course, here at Faliro, we will be not in the middle of the city. It will be a different story. But I believe in the values of transparency. Transparency is a close friend of lightness and visibility. And the beauty of that space is about transparency. This is in the evening, play music. And it became, in the last 3 or 4 years, a kind of constant presence in the New York. And you see, through the window, you see this is the backyard of the houses. So the idea that transparency creates that beautiful sense of being in one place, but you belong to the city. Cities are made like that. One of the most important values of cities is that buildings should be not separated from the city. They should dialogue, they should talk to the street. And staying for a second in New York, we got to build 10 years ago. Not really. We started in 99 or 2000. The headquarters of New York Times. This is New York. New York, I love New York because it's an atmospherical city. It's a city where everything keeps changing. In the beautiful sunny evening, everything is red, but everything may become blue. And here, in this position here, we have designed the New York Times. The New York Times headquarters, New York Times started in Times Square there. They moved there, and now they moved there. That is where we have built this building. This is a mad guy in the office. He's one of my partners that one day wanted to jump on the top of the antenna. And this is the location of the building. It's the middle. This is 8th Avenue, 41st Street, and 40th Street. And the building is a tall building, of course. This is compared to the... And in this building is again about the value of transparency and participation. And we wanted ourselves, but also the client, of course. I said before, there's no hope. You will never do something good without a good client. You need vision. Also because, you know, making a building is like crossing the Far West with Indians that come to stop you, with everything happening. In 5, 6, 7 years, everything happened. And if you don't have somebody to protect, that love you, that has a quality, capacity to hold, it will never happen. On this one, you know, the big point was the day this guy was welding, you know, this is the building finished. But the big moment, the tragic moment was really September 11. September 11, 2001, we were already working on the project, and we met. We never forget, because that evening, we set up a meeting for some reason, and we met with the owner of the New York Times. And we talked about what to do. It was September 11, something terrible. We were all in New York that day and that week. And they decided to make the building. And then we worked out a philosophy that was based on transparency. You can't believe, but that day we understood, all of us, that transparency is more safe than opacity. And the building got to be not like a bunker, closed, but it got to be transparent, because transparency is actually safer. So I found a good reason, even in that terrible occasion, to preach for transparency. This is the building. The reason why I showed the red picture before is because that building is very sensitive. It's actually made of almost 200,000 little section of ceramic, and this ceramic takes the color of the weather. And in New York, everything becomes red at the evening, in the sunny evening. Everything becomes blue after a shower. And this is what you see on the 14th floor, that is where people come to take a rest or to enjoy a conversation. It's about transparency. It's about lightness. It's about light as well. This is the view from the Time Center, that is an auditorium for 400 people. You see through the garden. I was there a few days ago with the snow. It's beautiful because we have birch trees. Those trees are birch trees, and with the snow on the ground, it was beautiful, magic. So when you are sitting here in the room and you watch or you listen to a speaker there, you see through that garden and you see through the building and you see the traffic on 8th Avenue. That is again about bringing together the street and the building. I think this idea of transparency and accessibility is not just language. It's not formal. It has a lot to do with the civic role of building. And buildings that have a civic role need to have that kind of generous accessibility. And this is something to finish with, and then I will say a few words about the work here in Athens. This is actually in San Francisco. This is one of those sketches that you do when you walk around. They're a bit stupid, but at the end, they remain in the job like kind of funding. And this is a sketch of the roof of the California Academy of Science. In San Francisco, there is a great institution in the middle of the Golden Gate Park that is called California Academy of Science. It's a very old institution, under 50 years. And it's a science museum. They actually started a long time ago in the middle of the 19th century with tall ship going around the good season, then coming back to the pier in San Francisco. And they kept going. And then they called us 10 years ago, 9 years ago, to make a new building because all the existing buildings were destroyed by the earthquake. And this is the central piazza. And this is the building from above, bird view. Well, you can see the roof, it's actually natural. This roof is immense, and this is part of the museum. Exhibit number 1 of the California Academy of Science today is the building itself. And the roof that has the shape I showed before, that funny shape, is the shape of the roof. The roof is like that for a very simple reason, that I wanted to have the building not too tall in the park, but at the same time, this bubble is the planetarium, and the planetarium was much higher than the roof. So I got to come up. And this is the rainforest. Well, you can see, because you have full of little windows to bring light inside. And the rainforest is also much taller. The rainforest is about 25 meters diameter, but the building is only 12 meters tall, just to be very quiet in the park. So the funny shape is due to the fact that we got to adjust, this is the aquarium, adjust the shape of the roof to the different function. In the middle, we have a piazza. And because of this roof planted, we actually planted 1 million, here we are. Those baskets are made of material that actually become earth after 2 years. And we use 200,000 of those baskets. And each one has a plant inside.